so for chapter 8, I have a couple examples to show you guys. But basically, you're starting a whole new project. So we're done with the portfolio project, and well, in terms of like as a website. So now you're going to start a new type of portfolio, which is supposed to be for a tablet or mobile phone, something like that. And so obviously the dimensions on this change in terms of the way this is set up. And as you can see from this example on screen, that basically you're just going to set your dimensions, and the book tells you what dimensions to set up, and in terms of setting up your stage size and all that kind of stuff. But keep in mind, what you're going to be doing is mostly the focus of chapter 8 is more about using movie clips. So in terms of complex animation. So what that means is that you're going to have not just a regular animation, like for instance a car going by, but you're also going to have the wheel spinning at a different rate maybe. And you'll see how you'll be able to set that up. So that the wheel is spinning and then the car is moving at the same time, or a plane is going by and the propellers are spinning. If you can imagine, if you were going to do that on the main timeline, that you would have to set several different layers, and then you would have to, wherever the object of the plane, for instance, or car would move to, then you would have to somehow make sure that the wheels somehow followed it. But what you're going to do instead is you're going to embed a movie clip within another movie clip. Okay? So that means that you create a movie clip, for instance, a car, and then you convert it to a movie clip, then you create a wheel within the movie clip, and then you rotate the wheels or whatever, air propellers or whatever it is, somebody waving or something like that. So the point is that you can set it up so that there's animation within animations. As a matter of fact, when you work within the book, you'll be setting up a dragonfly, the body of dragonfly, and the wings. And the wings will be flapping at a different rate and so on, while the dragonfly is flying around. And so, you'll see how you'll be able to set it. I'll do a quick sample of this in terms of setting that up, and then we'll go to the actual assignment itself. So let me just do something real quick here so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So I'm using, as you can see, I'm using Adobe CC because it doesn't matter if I use CC or CS6 for the animation. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to, you can start using Adobe CC if you want to do that, because we are going to switch over chapter 9. We're going to start using ActionScript 3.0. Okay? And you'll be using that for this ongoing project that you'll be starting up, this new project you're going to be starting up. So for instance, say that I have, okay, we're going to do this real fast, right? So this is my car, okay? It's all decked out, as you can see. And then so now I'm not going to use round, then like a wheel, obviously round wheel, and just do another block. But here's the idea. So again, we'll pretend this is my car. I'm going to convert it to a movie clip. So I'm going to modify convert symbol, and I'm going to convert it to a movie clip. Normally I would go ahead and change this to car, but for sake of time, we're just going to leave it as a movie clip. So now I have a movie clip, right? So the idea is that I'm going to make this car move around, just travel around and all that kind of stuff, right? And I want the wheels to be spinning as it moves around. So now I need to do the other part. Now I need to go inside the movie clip, and then put the wheels in there. I'm not going to put the wheels in this main timeline. So you wouldn't normally what you guys have been doing is you've been creating a new layer, and maybe you would put the clouds or background in there, or maybe you put the wheels, and you would try to make the whole thing move at once, and that sometimes that would work. But the idea here is going to be that I'm going to select this movie clip. I'm going to double click it. Now when I double click, notice right here, oops, where it says symbol 1, notice that I've gone from scene 1, which is considered the main timeline, to the symbol movie clip symbol timeline. So this timeline corresponds to the symbols timeline. Okay, even though they kind of look the same. Actually, let me change it up a little. I'm going to go back to scene 1 so you can see the difference. Let's say that I'm going to change the background to something else. Blue. I'm actually going to just draw a blue block. And I'm going to actually move it down. All right, so again, notice there's 2 layers here, right? Now when I double click here, there's only 1 layer. Even though I still see the background in the back, but I can't select it or move it around, and it's a different layer. So for this layer, I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer, and this is where I'm going to put the wheel. And I'm purposely going to do a rectangle, and let me lock this layer so I don't accidentally select that. Let me change the colors again. Let's make it red. And the reason I'm making a rectangle so you can see the spinning. If it was a circle, it would be kind of hard to see it spinning. Anyway, so I'm going to right mouse click, create motion tween. Oops, forgot. I need to convert it. I could have left it so that it converts it itself, but I'm going to right mouse click on it, convert to symbol. Then I'm going to convert that to a movie clip. Okay. And, you know, it actually could be a graphic symbol, but might as well leave it as a movie clip. So it's a movie clip now. And so now I'm going to right mouse click, create motion tween. And notice it creates the tween span all the way to frame 24. I'm not going to have it go all the way to frame 24. I'm just going to have it go to about frame 10. Now my background of the car is gone. So notice it's only on frame 1. If I move it here, I see both of them, right? So I'm going to move my playhead to frame 10. I'm going to select frame 10. Right mouse click or hit F5. So to select to insert frames, F5 would do it too. Now see my car is right there, right in this layer. All right, so notice I have the blue tween span, but no keyframe yet. So I'm going to rotate this just slightly. Let me zoom in on here. So I'm just going to rotate it by putting my cursor just above it. Notice it creates that keyframe, but I'm just going to rotate it back. Because what I'm going to do, for instance, I'm going to select that keyframe right there. And in my properties, by selecting that keyframe in my properties, I can tell it how many times I want to rotate. Okay? So I'm going to tell it to rotate 1 time. And it's going to be clockwise. So notice, see how it rotates? And I didn't have to do the animation itself. I could have done that. I could have set keyframe and next frame, and the next frame rotated 45 degrees and then another 45 degrees and so on until I got a full rotation. But this is, you know, a faster way, right? So now I have that going. Okay, so I have that rotating. So theoretically, here's my car. And if I test it out, notice how it rotates, right? Now, if I wanted to, now again, I'm back in scene 1. There's my background layer. Now, to go, notice this moves as 1 piece, right? So if I animate this, create motion tween, again, I need to extend my background. Just gonna hit F5. Okay, we'll do 2 wheels, but you know how to do the other wheel. I don't want to spend the time doing another wheel and so on. Fit into window, and then I'm just gonna move it across. So you see the car is moving across with its wheel rotating and so on. And obviously you can, you know, set this so that there's different ways you can set it up in terms of your motion tweening and so on. You can also affect, the path, as you remember, in terms of, you know, setting up your path and so on, right? And also keep in mind that you could use the classic, you can use motion guide layer. You did that, I think, in chapter 5, so that you can draw a path, so then it follows a path. So it's more of a complicated path that it follows if you wanted to set up that way. Okay, so that's in essence, that's what I think the chapter is trying to get at in terms of having you create movie clips, embedded movie clips. By the way, notice if I stop it in the middle, by the way, I can stop it by hitting return, that the wheel keeps spinning even though I've stopped the animation in the main timeline, that the movie clip keeps spinning. So sometimes that could be a problem if it's supposed to be like a helicopter. Well, not a helicopter. What would be another example? Well, a car. If a car stops and the wheel keeps spinning, obviously that gets to be a problem. But through ActionScript, you can actually tell it to, if you hit a button, whatever, you can actually tell it to also, you can target the movie clip to also stop. So if it hits a stop action in the middle of your animation, then you can also in there set up a ActionScript that targets that movie clip that's embedded within that other movie clip and tell it to stop also. So it doesn't obviously keep spinning around like this. Okay. I mean, this would work fine if it's like a helicopter hovering or something like that, right? Anyway, so basically that's how you're going to do your movie clips. Now, for your assignment, as I said before, you're going to set up the dimensions for like a tablet or something like that. But the idea is to use a movie clip within the buttons themselves. Okay, so that you have an animated button. So check it out. So it will look something like this. So normally, if you roll over a button, the way you've been taught to do is like on the up states, it's just standing still, right? It's just there. But on the overstate, when your cursor goes over the button, then maybe we would change colors, the text would change colors or something like that. But in this case, if you'll notice when I roll over it, can you guys see that horse animated? Everybody in the back, can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. So, and then you do that for every button, right? Here's another example. Let me see this one. When I roll over it, you get, this simple animation. When I roll out, it disappears. Because what it is that notice it's not on this button, but on this button. And you can set it up either way. So on the other example, on this example, it's set up so that wherever you roll over here, it does the animation. Okay? So let's look at that real quickly. So for instance, on scene 1, notice again this whole thing right here is a button, right? So anywhere I put my cursor over, it's going to trigger the animation. When I double click it, I'm in the button timeline. So I'm within the button. So I'm embedding a movie clip within a button. Okay, so on the up state, you have the animation right here. You have the movie clip. Notice in the properties, oh, that's a bitmap, sorry. So on the up state, it's just a bitmap. When I go on the overstate, you'll notice that on the properties, it shows right here, it shows as a movie clip. Okay? And then, so it's just, as you see it right here on the upstate, it's just a movie clip. You don't see any animation, but when I double click on the movie clip, you'll notice that it's 60-something frames long in terms of frame-by-frame animation. Okay? And let's look at the next one. So I believe, now again, this is a sample button, or just a button. Notice it doesn't have an overstate, because remember when I rolled over this, the text sample, nothing happened. But when I roll over this one, we got the animation. So in the upstate, it's just a graphic or shape, right? A vector shape. When I go on the overstate, notice right here, it's actually a movie clip. It's embedded in there. All you do is you drag it, but you have to create it first. Now watch when I double. Now I'm sorry. Now that I've selected it, you'll notice it says a movie clip, right? When I double click on it, I'm going into the movie clip timeline. Notice again, I went from scene 1 to the button. Now I'm in the movie clip timeline, and once again, you'll see this person decided to do a frame-by-frame animation too. Keep in mind, you don't have to do frame-by-frame. You could do motion tween like I did, type of thing. So You don't have to do a frame by frame to, to actually move that thing across. I would have done a motion tune, would have been much faster than a frame by frame type of setup. Okay. So it's actually pretty easy, I think, in terms of what you need to do. Just got to make sure you set it up correctly. Okay? Any questions in terms of what you're going to be doing? Keep in mind, you won't be, at this point, you won't be doing any action scripting to it. So either CS6 or CC, Adobe CC or Flash CC is going to work fine. Okay?